It's the second best of 5 of this evening. We're on Daybreak, spawning to the bottom left-hand corner, playing as Purple Protoss for LDLC in France. It's Miyako. And in the top right-hand corner, playing as Teal Terran. And Mexico. It's Grizzly. Walling off a main ramp. It's the Senpai Kohai match. Well, I actually don't really know how many training sessions Miyako and Grizzly have done since the end of Season 1. But they used to practice together, and Miyako used to coach Grizzly, helping her to get up from Platinum to Diamond during Season 1. A rank which she just got back on the European servers, as Twitter told me. So, as you all know, Miyako's main race is Terran, or maybe for those of you who didn't know, who are not regular watchers of the FSL, Miyako's main race is Terran indeed. She easily won Season 1 as the champion, only dropping one map throughout the whole season, and I think only dropping like 3 or 4 maps in the playoffs. So she is a pretty strong Terran player, and since her victory was quite easily done in Season 1, Miyako decided to give herself a challenge and play off-race in Season 2, and decided to play Protoss. So, hasn't been an easy season for Miyako so far, has already taken some losses. Command Center going down for Grizzly. But yeah, this time around we have the teacher and the taught one. So Grizzly actually getting a good idea of what Miyako is up to, moves the SCV out, knows that a Nexus is already building, has just planted her own command center down on the low ground. So let's see what Miyako actually wants to do to her old pupil, to her old student. Okay, factory already in the making. Seems as if Grizzly just wants to go for some sort of 1-1-1 building. The biggest problem, of course, for Grizzly right now is that a lot of builds and timings that she uses, she actually got from Miyako. So Miyako just knows her opponent inside out. She knows what to expect of her, she knows how well she can play it, she knows where her problems are, and she just knows the actual counter builds. So playing against your senpai might sometimes be a tricky situation. So we'll see whether Miyako can just abuse her knowledge of her opponent's playstyle, or if she just play a standard game and just do what the fuck soever in order to beat her. So arrives at the natural base entrance, sees that a bunker is around, won't really be able to penetrate, tries to sneak by and actually manages to do so, but the depot is up, and now of course the Stalker is trapped, will eventually get shut down by the Marines. Ooh, actually sloppy gameplay there by Miyako, not even getting the SCV out here, so losing a Stalker almost for free, actually not really something that you want to happen that early on. Grizzly's Marines just breakdancing at the supply depot because they want to get down here, but the supply depot was raised. So only one Stalker so far for Miyako, but she already has the second base out at least, and is already getting into Twilight Council right after Robotics Facility. Typical build order for Protoss in the PvT matchup if you want to go into a longer macro game and not into some sort of early cheese where you can just end the game early on. Because then you just need detection very early on because of Widow Mines, because of Cloak Banshees, but mostly because of Widow Mines. And yeah, so you need a Robo, and afterwards you also want to have Twilight Council and Blink because of Liberators. So you want to have a lot of Stalkers out that help you deal with Liberators early on. And later then, you might want to have some Tempests in order to deal with Liberators, if need be. So biggest problem actually for Protoss right now is the AoE damage that you usually need against the bioforces that Terrans will usually throw at you. Since the Disruptor is a little bit binary in its damage, you either hit or you don't. And if you do, you normally just kill a great chunk of the bioforces and then maybe even win the game. Or you just don't, and then you will just lose all of your army to the stim bioforces. So that's a bit problematic. Storm is actually kind of the same. And if you want to get Storm, you actually have to get a totally different tech up before that. So it also takes time in order to get, and if your opponent gets Ghost and EMPs all your Templars, or if your Storm just misses, it's actually almost the same with this as with the Disruptor shot. So actually the Colossus has become a little bit more popular amongst Protoss players once more, since it just deals out reliable damage. Less than before, but at least some damage. So, the Siege Tank in position, and Siege Tanks actually got buffed throughout the patch, so they deal quite significant more damage than before, actually just taking out the pylons that Miyako tried to build up for Photon Overcharge before these units could actually arrive. Like I said before, she knows that push. She actually was the one who taught Grizzly the push. So she should, might even be able to get the Observer! Well, that would really be a big shot here, but Miyako just saves it barely. Which is really important for her. She really wants to have the detection, not only to see what her opponent is doing, but also if Widow Mines might come in play. Okay, nice little blink there, just taking out the tank immediately before the rest of the army can actually even engage. So that was really a nice snipe there, and Miyako just getting more and more Stalkers. Blink is, fortunately for her, already done. She's probably seen it coming, and now with just pure Blink Stalker Micro, she will eventually be able to just take out that Marine here over here. Also blinks forward, takes out the Liberator as well. Yeah, now she's actually in a very comfortable position, having almost taken her third base, or at least produce it, and now she will just have to saturate it once more. The only thing that the medevac can do right now is just retreat, and of course Grizzly's just panicking and fearing that her opponent might just counter-attack her right now, so she's just thrown down a lot of bunkers here, but she doesn't even have enough units to fill them. But of course, being scared of your opponent will make Grizzly not expanding anytime soon. Does she actually know about the third? No, she doesn't. So, like I said, Grizzly probably kind of misreading the position she's in. She's probably thinking that her opponent will just now counterattack her with all her massive forces, and actually Miyako will. But, yeah, she's probably not expecting that her opponent has already taken a third base. Okay, unfortunately a few units not even in that bunker. Mine are not very thorough yet, but they will be. Okay, this could actually deal some terrible damage here. Bam, bam. But, almost blinking out. Unfortunately, the last blink a little bit too late. So these Stalkers actually get hit quite a bit. So Miyako for now has to retreat, but yeah, she's actually got everything she wanted. I mean, she got one bunker, she got a few units, she didn't really lose that much, and she's already had her third base up for quite some time, and now just getting into the upgrade. Stim is not even halfway done for the Terran, and without Stim there's almost no aggressive potential for a turn whatsoever. I mean, Grizzly could try to load up and maybe get into the main base in order to deal some damage over here, be it economical damage, be it just taking out a few important tech buildings over here. But yeah, Miyako even has the mothership core in place, even has an observer around here, which you would probably rather have somewhere around here, but it's probably mostly there so that she can just have a good look at the mineral base. Or maybe she's just forgotten it because here comes the photon cannon. I think she's just forgotten about it. It was probably just rallied there in order to secure the mineral line of the main base, but now it's just obsolete and she could just use it somewhere else. But like I said before, she's probably just forgotten about it. Okay, getting a warp prism, so maybe this might be some sort of either frontal attack with reinforcements with the help of the warp prism, or she just might even try to attack at some point and then use the warp prism in order to harass somewhere else. But she's already taking a fourth base as well, while her opponent has not even taken a third. Is it even up? I mean, there's I think actually she hasn't even... Oh, there it is. Okay, she has constructed the building, at least. So it's now going to fly over to the third base. We have a little harassment over here using a mine. 3 workers got killed, but not more. Okay, observer just moving around, watching out for a few more. And the only thing that Miyako now has to do is just get her workers back to mining and back to getting the gas. Getting them back to refining the gas. So, army just standing quite okay, and here we have it. Colossus play. Like I said before, the Colossus just being a little bit more reliable of a damage dealer. It doesn't deal as much damage as in Heart of the Swarm or Wings of Liberty, but at least it constantly deals damage. Something you can't really say about High Templars, or especially the Purification Novas of a Disruptor. So, Medivacs moving around, same as Marauders, so we might actually just see some sort of drop play over here. Miyako just spreading out a few of her pylons. We also have, well, not really a potential drop, but just one Medivac with one Marine. And yeah, that won't really do much. I mean, a Warpin would just easily kill it. So let's see if Grizzly can just utilize this little drop over here, and if she will. Okay, there finally the one Marine gets in, and like I said, it will just get easily cleared by a Warpin of one Stalker. Okay, there's another drop, trying to do the multi-prong harassment. Actually, these units also taken out the pylon over here. There it goes in, but the photon overcharge is there immediately. Unfortunately, Miyako not really trying to focus fire down that Medivac. That would have been a good move, I feel. And yeah, the army movements... Okay, it seems as if Grizzly just wants to abandon that drop, knows that she's probably going to lose it all, and wants to deal as much damage as possible, tries to save the Medivac at least, leaving all these Marines and Marauders behind. What a traitor unit! Wow! Wow, this pilot can only hope that no one knows about this. And Miyako just being annoying as ever, just takes another base and another base because she can, right in the face of Grizzly. Not even taking the typical base over here, a little bit further away from your opponent, but actually, I mean, this base is pretty much in your face. And the Medivac might even spot it. Yeah, it does. So let's see how Grizzly is actually going to answer now. Gravitic Drive even, the speed for the Warp Prism being researched here. So, seems as if a few army units plus Liberators will move out and cancel that base, or yeah, actually just... Oh no! Okay, Miyako actually just right in time cancelling that base over here, so maybe it was even a little bit of a troll base. I don't know if she actually saw these units incoming. Yeah, she did, because she had the watchtower, so she knew that these units were coming, and just cancelled the base before losing the 400 minerals. And it seems as if actually Grizzly plans to take this base herself, since she's already planting down these, just sieging these Liberators in a defensive position. So Miyako in the meantime managed to get to DTs and will now try to deal some damage with them. Okay, the watchtower has been scouted and the Stalker has to die while the rest of the army just moves out as well. So don't really know what this command center is doing right here, but yeah, okay, there's the scan, but unfortunately DTs still deal a lot of damage, even if you can see them, so it didn't really matter for these Marines, and they just get killed anyways. Liberators get unsieged, but yeah, I don't know if they can really set up an... I mean, if you just look closely, you can still see the ripple on the map, but yeah, it's very, very hard to be seen. So then you can just set up the liberation zones and then maybe scout again, and this one you just gets one-shotted. Okay, this time around Grizzly just realizes early enough what's up, scans, and then also just shoots it down with the help of the siege tank and a few units, just puts down a bunker and a missile turret, so this won't happen again. But in the meantime, Miyako, just having all the cards in her hand, is just playing it out little by little, taking her sweet time to just dismantle Grizzly here. So, fourth base finally being taken, while Miyako is already on 5 and can just easily take a 6th one over here if she wants, of course. Would have to get rid of that Marauder first. Her upgrades are better. Her income is looking pretty nifty. She has more harvesters as well. Her army supply is a little bit down, but she has the higher tech units. Okay, Liberator just tries to fly in and deal some damage. Actually, you can see how much space there is. So it seems as if the photon cannons might not even be in the right place in order to intercept the Liberator. But then again, there's not much that an interceptor can... the Liberator. But then again, there's not much damage a Liberator can actually deal inside the main base. base, because the mineral line is not being mined anymore. There's only this one little gas, but that's a position where the Liberator can't really siege up, and Liberators can't shoot buildings. So, like I said, this really doesn't help much. The only way she could really deal some damage would just be to move in from back here, and then just get all of these down. And there's still this medevac parked in the back, so this is again some supply that's not really being used by the Terran forces at all. Maybe later on we're going to see some kind of F2 click, maybe? Okay, Stalkers are now in place. Liberator just tries to get into a good position in order to besiege this line over here, but yeah, the Stalkers have blink and just take down the Liberator quite easily. So, in the meantime, Miyako has managed to gather 7 Colossi together, plus a lot of Stalkers. It's actually the good old Wings of Liberty Death Ball composition, if you want, only with weaker Colossi. We have a lot of Stalkers to shoot air, we have a lot of Colossi to shoot ground, and we also have some Storm maybe available. At least there were High Templars in here, and Storm has been researched. So yeah, we have Storm in order to just shoot down everything else, maybe even Vikings that just clump up or everything. But it's actually, like I said, I mean, this is like 2011, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a composition I haven't seen in quite some time, and not in that purest form, you could actually just say. Okay, in the meantime, we have a nice little drop by Grizzly over here, but with this one, she just abandons every hope over here, lets her only mining base die, or just needs to let it die, because she just doesn't have the necessary forces in order to take out Miyako's forces. And that's actually maybe the best thing. I think she should actually just maybe even get all the other forces towards the other half of the map as well. Just abandon her bases, fly them away into some corner, and just go for the base race. But yeah, over here it seems as if the rest of the army of the push just gets cleaned up as well. The army that's over here is not sufficient enough to kill off Miyako's army, and Miyako finally takes the first game for a 1-0 lead. Mining Research Station is our second map of this best of 5. And we've just witnessed that Miyako doesn't have the Nya in front of her name for nothing. Oh, even calling her Kohai-chan. How cute is that? Or maybe even a little bit belittling there. I have to be careful to whom you say that. But yeah, usually the Japanese use chan for very close friends. Sometimes for little kids as well, but you would usually only use it and say it to another adult if you are very close friends. Otherwise it would be considered an insult, a little bit of an insult, if you just call an adult person chan and you're not very close friends. Japanese people would consider it an insult. Like I said, belittling the other person, telling them that they're actually kind of childish or childlike. So we can assume, I guess, that Miyako and Grizzly actually indeed are pretty close friends, since, like I explained before, both of them practicing and coaching, or doing coachings with each other. So, nice little gesture there by Miyako. Okay, actually another barracks just right in the back of the base, but I think Miyako, just barely did not scout it. So it seems as if Grizzly is up for some sort of cheese, otherwise she wouldn't have tucked that barracks back the way she did here. So let's see if Miyako actually manages to sniff this out here, at least with reproach she will. The route is going to take her over to here, so it seems as if she just reads her opponent like a book. And like I said, I mean, it's difficult to be a Terran and try to hide something from Miyako. I mean, Miyako knows the Terran race inside out, and if you've actually learned from her how to play Terran, it becomes even harder to trick her, since she just will probably know your every move by just scouting a few little buildings here and there, and just a few units here and there. Okay, first Reaper is already out, second Reaper in production, no third Reaper yet, and it's actually no 3 Rex Reaper opening, so only 2 Rex, but it might just help in order to put Miyako under some pressure, who has taken a Nexus in the back pocket already, and has now finally gathered her Mothership Core. Will probably just produce no, not her Mothership Core, her Cybernetics Core, and will now produce a Mothership Core as quickly as possible, while maybe Grizzly is just abandoning her plan after being sniffed out. and just goes into expand herself. So actually Grizzly, woo, already getting a kill. Pretty sloppy play there by Miyako here. Should actually not really lose it, but there the Mothership Core is, and bam! The Photon Overcharge gets out, kills off that first Reaper. Another Reaper is in position in order to also jump in and maybe deal some more damage, but the first Stalker is out as well, just being positioned right here where a Reaper would normally hop in. And there's the Stalker actually just getting one shot with a mine, but Stalkers don't really take that much damage from a mine anyways. So Grizzly just retreats with a Reaper. Don't think she really has to retreat completely. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good move, moving over here. I think I would have just parked it over there. But in the meantime, Miyako going for a proxy pylon. Just wants to apply some counter pressure, but missile turrets are already under construction, so a Stargate build might not do the trick, or might not deal the damage that Miyako is actually opting for. Might still not be a Stargate play. Could actually just be a warp gate, because she's just producing a robotics facility back here. So she might just want to throw down. Okay, actually it seems as if it's going to be DTs, and yeah, so maybe a Stargate later on. But with the warp prism out, she actually doesn't even need a Stargate close by. So yeah, it's probably just to hide the DT tech and get it in. Let's see if the DT tech will actually help out. I mean, one missile turret is already down, so there's some vision there. And I think Grizzly should be aware that a missile turret is also very important back here in the natural base. But of course, with enough DTs in, yeah, this scan unfortunately won't really tell her anything, except for more warp gates, which are not all too uncommon at that point in time. I mean, you want to ramp up your production as Protoss a little bit later on, so this does not really tell her. I mean, it tells her that your opponent will be able to just warp in a few more units in quite some time. Or in a short amount of time, but yeah, not really about the DT tag, and that's why you would usually hide it over here. So also scans the natural as well, really wants to know how good saturated Miyako already is, and of course hoping to maybe get a good look at some sort of hidden tech buildings, but there is nothing to be seen in the main base or in the natural base. And like I said, the missile turret is there. We also get a supply depot up. This mine could actually help out quite a bit if Miyako is not paying attention to her own warp prism. But yeah, once the DTs are in, I mean, turrets grant you detection, but they don't kill the units for you. You still will have to get there in time. And I mean, reacting to what's happening, then just selecting your army, getting it over here, killing off DTs and maybe even several DTs before they can chop down the missile turret. This could be problematic. Another missile turret in position as well. So this plan becomes more and more problematic, and finally even Miyako still managed to get a gateway out here as well, so she can even warp in here without unfolding the warp prism if need be. So also getting the Templar Archives there, probably not for Storm right away, I feel, but for a good old Zealot Archon push, I think. So in the meantime, we have Grizzly, unfortunately with the anti-timing, preparing a counter push. I mean, it might help out a little bit, might even be able to take out that third base over here, but now the DTs are flying in. The missile turret is in place, but of course there are not enough missile turrets to keep everything in check. So the DTs get in, and like I said before, I mean, detecting it is one thing, fighting it off is another one, and there's the same thing going on. Unfortunately, Grizzly not really paying attention, even losing that missile turret over here that she could have easily just counter-repaired, and now the DTs just reign freely inside Grizzly's base. Another DT just coming over here because there's not much to be killed down here, and the DT might even chop down that missile turret as well. Yeah, the two DTs, and again, you can see them, but you also have to kill them. Nice little warp prism micro there by Miyako, just loading and unloading once more. So again, Grizzly just has to spend her valuable scans in order to detect them, doesn't really get them all, loses too much economy, and Miyako takes the second game as well. Habitation Station is our third map in this best of 5. It's the gold base map. So let's see if either player just wants to abuse it. Grizzly not going for the Gangnam Terran style, which would be to just lift this command center when the game starts and send it over here to the gold minerals, transferring all of the workers as well, and then just getting a better mineral income early on in order to prepare one heavy push a little bit earlier. So also Miyako does not plan to take advantage of some sort of early gold base mineral cheese. It's actually a lot harder to do for Protoss than for Terran. But of course you have to know what you do, and we haven't even seen it because with Legacy of the Void a lot of things have changed, even economy-wise, so the gold-based cheese is not really as valuable anymore as it was like in Heart of the Swarm. And even then, you still had to know exactly what you're doing as the one who used it and the one who defended it. So looks like a standard opening there for Grizzly mostly. Probably wants to go into an early expand after the barracks. Miyako just wants to check out what her opponent is doing. Goes into the cybernetics core, no risky play. Wants to have the tech out just in case. I think that's a smart decision. So Miyako moving in, sees only one gas. Sees that only one SCV is mining from it. And there's the command center going down, and I think Miyako will also see that. And then, just eating my own words, seems as if Miyako rather wants to get Nexus down pretty early on, especially after seeing what her opponent is just doing right now, and one Rex expanding. So she feels comfortable in taking this Nexus over at the gold base, and then I'm really curious where she wants to go into, but it seems as if this time around she might want to go into mass adept play, because adepts cost way more minerals than gas. They are actually as expensive as zealots, but they mineral-wise, but they also cost they also have this gas cost. So yeah, with the additional mineral income from a gold base, you might just be able to outproduce your opponent on adepts easily. So let's see, another gateway incoming. Yeah, this gateway will get will actually get used quite a bit once this gold base is finally there. So Grizzly just desperately sending a marine across the map, trying to deny that base, but now the adept is here, so the marine won't really stand a chance against it and will eventually die. Just nicely moving around. No, let me go, and there it dies. In the meantime, Grizzly has taken her own base, but of course she knows about the gold base of Miyako. Don't know if she really has an idea what her opponent is planning. So, gateway out here. I don't know if Miyako just wants to go into a lot of adepts and then just try to overwhelm her opponents right away, or if she just wants to go into a Twilight Council as well and also get the research done, the adept slaves. Yeah, it seems as if she does, and then just maybe attack with mass adepts into the front line of her opponent. So in the meantime we have Factory coming up and Stim as well, and Stim is something that Grizzly really wants to have against this kind of play, but she also wants to have a full wall here. I feel she should really invest into more depots and maybe even more bunkers pretty soon, but she also needs to find out what her opponent is actually doing. How much has she seen? Unfortunately no scout whatsoever inside the main base, so she doesn't really know what's going on. Okay, yeah, robotics facility a little bit later. This should be the adept slaves, and there it is. And then of course the robotics facility is still needed for detection. Actually a little bit risky what Miyako did here, getting the robotics facility quite late. If Grizzly actually had committed into mind play with a starboard a little bit earlier on, instead of just trying to get more marines out and also trying to harass this base a little bit earlier, she could have already gotten a mine, or a mine would actually fly right now into the main base of Miyako. And she wouldn't have had any detection against it, but yeah, would've, could've, should've, but doesn't matter now anyways. So 2 more SCV kills for these adepts, and more gateways getting planted down. The upgrade is halfway done. From now on out, I feel we will only see mass adepts being morphed in somewhere and then just walking across the map. And like I said before, Miyako will just probably try to whittle down her opponent completely. Yeah, Grizzly still has no real idea what is going on, just produces more and more units, which is generally good. But like I said, I think she'd really need a few more bunkers around here in order to hold her natural base. But then again, of course, Miyako could also just avoid this by trying to fly in a warp prism. And maybe she actually will do that. Maybe she will just attack at the front and also harass in the back with a little bit. I mean, there are already missile turrets in position, which I also like quite a bit, and they will also go down another one. But you can't really cover the whole area. Of course, you can force the warp prism to maybe warp in at a point where you can quickly reach. Ooh, this might again be just the anti-timing, the units just moving out while the adepts just shade in. And again, the wall is not closed, which is again already a big problem here. Army movement just almost straight into the arms of the adepts here. And Grizzly has also stimmed already, so these units are quite low on health, would just easily get taken out by the adepts with the attack speed, and this is just a loss that Grizzly could not afford right at that point in time. She would need every unit down here and ever hoping to defend this. But yeah, Miyako just even not really caring about the Marines, just trying to get in, killing off as many SCVs as possible, just keeping these adepts alive for a little bit more. At the same time, we have a nice little drop over here, so Miyako also has to defend her natural base, or at least her second base here, just this one adept eating one Widowmine shot. So she just decides to move out by a little bit, and Grizzly has at least defended the first attack, not without causing some trouble herself, but she's still a little bit behind on workers here. Well, actually, no, she isn't. 31 to 31. She also calls down mules, so this should make up a little bit for the lost mining time she just had to endure. But the adepts just getting massed and massed and massed. There are only 4 Marines left inside this medevac here. She might be able to just land once more, but the mothership core is available and ready to throw down photon overcharges, so it feels as if the second attack should actually just break through. These are not nearly enough units in order to hold this, and they are not even all in position. I mean, the bunker is almost dead before the units actually get in. The mine is not burrowed, and one mine alone just won't do the trick, actually gets taken out before it can burrow, and the ramp is wide open. Hannibal in front of the gates. There's just not really much that Grizzly can do here, except for pulling all of her workers, but they just get demolished by the adepts, who actually deal damage to light units, extra damage against light units, and yeah, which SCVs unfortunately are. So everything dies. Not much that Grizzly can do, just lifts up. At least the orbital command is safe for now, but there's not much enough units up here. Tries to get out some liberators in order to cover at least this over here, but yeah, there she realizes it's it, and Miyako takes the series with a 3-0.